By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much turmeric and curcumin you need to actually slow down aging, not just feel good about drinking golden lattes. I'll show you the one absorption trick that makes all the difference between wasting your money and getting real results. And I'll reveal the surprising truth about why your grandmother's curry might be doing more for longevity than you think, but probably not enough. Last month, I was scrolling through my social feeds and saw yet another post about someone's life-changing turmeric routine. The comments were wild, people claiming it cleared their brain fog, reduced their joint pain, even made their skin glow. One person said they'd been drinking turmeric tea for 6 months and felt 10 years younger. Another swore by expensive curcumin supplements that cost more than their monthly coffee budget. But here's what got me curious. Half the people were talking about spoonfuls of turmeric powder in smoothies. Others were swearing by 60 bottles of enhanced supplements. Some were making elaborate golden milk recipes with 12 different spices, while others were just sprinkling turmeric on everything like fairy dust. The results they reported were all over the map too, from miraculous transformations to absolutely nothing. So I dove into the research to figure out what's actually happening here. I spent weeks reading through clinical trials, talking to researchers, and trying to separate the science from the hype. And what I found surprised me. Because it turns out, there's a massive gap between what turmeric can do and what most people are actually getting from it. The difference comes down to one word: bioavailability. But before I explain why that matters so much, let me tell you about the 216 billion visits that changed everything. That's how many times people searched for anti-aging solutions online last year. We're all looking for that edge, that thing that might help us feel younger, move better, think clearer as we age. And curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, might actually be one of the most promising answers science has found. But only if you know how to use it right. Here's what most people don't understand about aging. It's not just about wrinkles appearing or your hair turning gray. Those are just the visible signs of something much deeper happening at the cellular level. Scientists have identified what they call the hallmarks of aging, 9 fundamental processes that drive how we age. And here's the fascinating part. Curcumin appears to target at least 6 of them directly. The biggest culprit? Something called inflammaging. This is chronic, low-grade inflammation that slowly damages our DNA, shortens our telomeres, those protective caps on our chromosomes, and fills our bodies with what researchers call zombie cells. These senescent cells are like that coworker who's checked out mentally but refuses to quit. They stop doing their job but stick around, constantly complaining and making everyone else's job harder. These zombie cells pump out inflammatory signals that accelerate aging throughout your body. They're linked to everything from arthritis and heart disease to cognitive decline and even cancer. And here's the kicker. As we age, our bodies get worse at clearing them out naturally. This is where curcumin becomes absolutely fascinating. It doesn't just fight inflammation like popping an aspirin. It targets the master control switches that regulate inflammatory responses throughout your entire body. Think of inflammation like a house alarm system. When you cut your finger or catch a cold, the alarm goes off. White blood cells rush to the scene, inflammation increases to fight the threat, and then everything calms down. That's healthy, acute inflammation, and it's essential for survival. But in aging, that alarm system gets stuck. The sensors become oversensitive, the off switch breaks, and the alarm keeps blaring even when there's no real threat. This chronic inflammation slowly damages healthy tissue, accelerates cellular aging, and sets the stage for age-related diseases. Curcumin acts like a master electrician who can rewire the whole system. It targets something called the NF-κB pathway, essentially the main control panel for inflammatory responses. When this pathway is overactive, it cranks out inflammatory molecules like TNF-α, IL-6, and IL-1β that damage healthy tissue and accelerate aging. But here's where it gets really interesting. A 2021 comprehensive review found that curcumin can reduce these inflammatory markers in over 20 different age-related diseases, from arthritis and heart disease to depression and even severe flu cases. It's like having a universal remote control for inflammation. Curcumin also disrupts something called the NLRP3 inflammasome, Think of it as an emergency broadcast system that triggers intense inflammatory responses. When this system goes haywire, it's involved in conditions like gout, atherosclerosis, and even severe flu symptoms. Curcumin essentially unplugs this system when it's causing more harm than good. But it doesn't stop there. Curcumin also activates your body's own antioxidant defense system through something called the Nrf2 pathway. This boosts production of enzymes like superoxide dismutase and glutathione, your body's natural antioxidants that neutralize free radicals before they can damage your cells. And here's where it gets really exciting for longevity. Curcumin appears to activate the same pathways that calorie restriction does. You know how studies show that eating 20 to 30% fewer calories can extend lifespan in animals? Curcumin seems to trigger some of those same longevity mechanisms without the hunger. It activates sirtuins, proteins that help repair DNA and regulate cellular metabolism. It boosts AMPK, an enzyme that acts like your body's energy sensor, optimizing how cells use fuel. And it may even help maintain telomere length, those protective DNA caps that shorten as we age. Let me share some of the human studies that really caught my attention. In one trial, middle-aged adults taking 2 grams of curcumin daily for 12 weeks saw their blood vessel function improve by 36 to 37%. To put that in perspective, that's like reversing several years of vascular aging in just 3 months. Another study compared curcumin to ibuprofen for osteoarthritis pain. After 4 weeks, both groups had similar pain relief, but the curcumin group also had reduced inflammatory markers and no stomach irritation, a common side effect of NSAIDs. But here's what really impressed me. A 2024 systematic review looked at 15 different human trials testing curcumin's effects on cognitive function and mood in older adults. They found significant improvements in memory, attention, and even depression scores. Some studies showed what researchers call large effect sizes, meaning the improvements were substantial, not just statistically significant. There's even emerging evidence that curcumin might help clear those zombie cells I mentioned earlier. In laboratory studies, it's shown senolytic properties, meaning it can actually help eliminate senescent cells that are contributing to aging. While we need more human studies to confirm this, it's incredibly promising. Now, here's where most people go completely wrong. They hear about these benefits and think, great, I'll just add more turmeric to my cooking or start drinking golden lattes every day. And look, I love a good curry, and golden milk is absolutely delicious. There's something deeply satisfying about that warm, spiced comfort. But here's the brutal truth about bioavailability. Regular turmeric powder is only 2 to 5% curcumin by weight, and your body absorbs less than 1% of the curcumin you consume in its natural form. Most of it gets broken down in your liver before it ever reaches your bloodstream, and what little does get absorbed is quickly eliminated. Let me put this in stark perspective. That teaspoon of turmeric in your golden latte contains maybe 50 to 100 milligrams of curcumin. Your body might absorb 0.5 to 1 milligram, if you're lucky. The studies showing real anti-aging benefits used 500 to 2,000 milligrams of highly bioavailable curcumin. You'd literally need to drink 40-80 golden lattes a day to get close to therapeutic levels. But before you give up on turmeric entirely and write off thousands of years of traditional use, let me explain why food sources still matter, and then share the absorption hacks that completely change the game. Traditional Indian diets, where turmeric is consumed daily in significant amounts, are associated with lower rates of age-related diseases. The key is cumulative exposure over decades, plus some smart preparation methods that traditional cooks figured out long before we understood the science. When you simmer turmeric in ghee or coconut oil, like in a traditional curry, you're increasing its bioavailability. The fat helps dissolve the curcumin and signals your gallbladder to release bile, which further aids absorption. One study found that adding fats increased curcumin's bioaccessibility by 15-fold, though it's still relatively low overall. There's also something called the food matrix effect. Whole turmeric contains volatile oils and other compounds that might work synergistically with curcumin. Some research suggests that whole turmeric might actually be better absorbed than isolated curcumin in certain circumstances, possibly because these other compounds help stabilize curcumin in your digestive system. Plus, even low levels of curcumin can have subtle but meaningful effects over time. Think of it like compound interest, small amounts adding up to significant benefits over years or decades. The antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects might be gentle, but they're consistent. So keep enjoying your turmeric in food. Make those curries, sip those golden lattes, experiment with turmeric in roasted vegetables or rice dishes. Just don't expect them to be your primary anti-aging strategy if you're looking for the robust benefits seen in clinical trials. Now, let me share the absorption hacks that can transform curcumin from a waste of money into a legitimate longevity tool. First, always take curcumin with fat. This isn't optional, it's essential. Curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it dissolves in fat, not water. Taking it on an empty stomach is like trying to dissolve oil in water. It just doesn't work. Have it with a meal containing healthy fats, or even just a spoonful of coconut oil, olive oil, or a handful of nuts. Second, add black pepper, and this is where the magic really happens. Piperine, the compound that makes black pepper spicy, can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That's not a typo. 20 times better absorption from just a pinch of black pepper. Here's why. Piperine inhibits enzymes in your liver that normally break down curcumin before it can do its job. It's like putting a temporary block on your body's cleanup crew, giving curcumin more time to circulate and reach your tissues. Just 5 milligrams of piperine, about a pinch of freshly ground black pepper, can transform your curcumin absorption. Third, timing matters. Curcumin levels peak in your blood about 1 to 3 hours after consumption and then drop rapidly. If you're taking it for general health, once daily with your largest meal is fine. But if you're dealing with active inflammation or want maximum anti-aging benefits, splitting your dose, half in the morning, half in the evening, might be more effective. Fourth, and this is crucial if you're serious about the anti-aging benefits, consider enhanced formulations. The supplement industry has developed several technologies specifically to solve curcumin's bioavailability problem. Liposomal curcumin wraps the molecules in tiny fat bubbles that protect them from digestion and help them cross cell membranes. Meriva uses a patented phytosome technology that binds curcumin to phospholipids. Theracurmin uses specialized nanoparticles to increase solubility. These aren't just marketing gimmicks, they work. Studies show these enhanced forms can achieve blood levels 20 to 45 times higher than regular curcumin powder. Suddenly, you're in the range where real therapeutic effects become possible. I've been experimenting with different forms myself, and the difference is noticeable. With regular curcumin, even at high doses, I felt nothing. With enhanced formulations, I noticed improvements in joint comfort and what felt like clearer thinking during stressful periods. Here's my practical recommendation based on the research. If you're just starting out and want to support healthy aging, try 500 milligrams of enhanced curcumin daily with a meal that contains some fat. Add a pinch of black pepper if your supplement doesn't already include piperine. If you're dealing with joint pain, brain fog, chronic fatigue, or other inflammatory issues, you might benefit from 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily, split into 2 doses. But at those higher levels, definitely work with a healthcare provider, especially if you're on any medications. And yes, absolutely keep enjoying turmeric in your food. Those traditional preparations provide gentle, cumulative benefits over time, plus they're delicious and connect you to thousands of years of culinary wisdom. Just don't expect them to be your primary anti-aging strategy. Let me address some important safety considerations. Curcumin is generally very safe. Studies have used up to 8 grams daily without serious side effects. But it can interact with certain medications, particularly blood thinners like warfarin, because curcumin has mild anticoagulant properties. It may also interfere with some chemotherapy drugs, and high doses can cause stomach upset in sensitive individuals. If you're pregnant, nursing, or have gallstones, check with your doctor before starting curcumin supplements. Some people worry about the quality and purity of curcumin supplements, and that's a legitimate concern. Look for products that have been third-party tested for purity and potency. Brands that invest in enhanced bioavailability technologies are usually more serious about quality control. Now, let's talk about realistic expectations. Curcumin isn't a fountain of youth in a capsule. You're not going to take it for a week and suddenly feel 20 years younger. The benefits are subtle and build over time. Reduced inflammation, better recovery from exercise, improved joint comfort, clearer thinking, and potentially slower cellular aging. Think of curcumin as one tool in a comprehensive approach to healthy aging. It works best when combined with other evidence-based practices: regular exercise, quality sleep, stress management, a nutrient-dense diet, and strong social connections. But here's what makes curcumin special. It addresses multiple hallmarks of aging simultaneously. Most interventions target one pathway. Exercise improves cardiovascular health, meditation reduces stress, good sleep supports brain function. Curcumin seems to work on several aging mechanisms at once, which might explain why traditional cultures that consume it regularly tend to have lower rates of age-related diseases. The research is still evolving, and we need more long-term studies in healthy adults to fully understand curcumin's anti-aging potential. But the mechanisms are solid, the safety profile is excellent, and the preliminary human data is genuinely promising. So here's my challenge for you. Try adding enhanced curcumin to your daily routine for the next 2 months. Start with 500 milligrams daily with a meal, and pay attention to how you feel, your energy levels, joint comfort, mental clarity, and overall sense of well-being. Keep a simple journal if that helps. Note any changes, but don't expect miracles overnight. This is about supporting your body's natural ability to age gracefully, not reversing decades of aging in a few weeks. And remember, this isn't about chasing eternal youth or falling for anti-aging hype. It's about giving your body evidence-based tools to maintain vitality, reduce inflammation, and potentially slow some aspects of cellular aging. It's about feeling your best at whatever age you are, and maybe extending your health span, the years you spend feeling vibrant and capable. The goal isn't to live forever. It's to live well for as long as we're here, with energy, comfort, and clarity. Curcumin might be one piece of that puzzle, not the whole solution, but a valuable tool backed by solid science and thousands of years of traditional use. Thank you for spending your time here. I'm grateful you're on this journey with me. Wishing you practical progress and good health. If you found this helpful, I've got more eye-opening research on longevity compounds that most people have ever heard of. Click the video that just appeared on your screen to discover the next piece of the healthy aging puzzle.